everybody. Good evening. This is a special episode of Benny's Big Talk, and I'm here with the boys. Actually, good evening, guys.
Hello, Benny.
Hey, Ben.
Thanks for being on the show with me, everybody.
Thank you for having me back.
It's my pleasure. What's your name again? All right.
No skim today.
You gonna introduce yourself?
That's
No
not
skim.
silk.
Oh,
You can't.
Skip.
All right, so we have a rule that's no in the first 30 seconds, and we've officially broken it already. So we're off to a fantastic start.
So we need to do a little reshoot here.
No,
golly.
we're
just
going.
going.
This
Yeah,
is
we're
it, man.
Do it live.
Do it live.
We're
man.
doing it live.
We're doing it live. All right, everybody. So I'm
It's
gonna go
the
around.
robe.
Yeah,
Got me acting
it's the
up.
robe. Man, the robe. I'm sweating with the robes, man. Actually,
It's-
I'm not
yeah.
sure.
I don't
if
think
it
the
was
robes are
best
going to
idea.
last. I think the robes are...
This is the official disrobing episode of Benny's Big Talk. So we're going to begin by introducing everyone in the way they would like to be named. So on my right and your left, viewer, is my friend Chris. You remember him from episode 2 of Benny's Big Talk. And then to my left and your right, again, viewer, this is Charley. Charley from episode 4 of Benny's Big Talk, where we jammed into the sunsets in a beautiful funk space sex explosion, and it was fantastic.
we were vibing.
And then on the other end of the table, we got some newcomers. All right, first we've got my friend Puke, who doesn't like to be known by his official name.
The pastor. Puke the pastor.
That's Puke the pastor right here. All right,
Yeah,
so,
we'll go like Mr. P or something.
he is an ordained pastor. All right, and
technically.
he is actually.
How many
yeah,
people
he
have
is.
you married? Not
Me?
like
Me?
you married one, but how many people have you married together?
Including my wife, 3. No, I think, yeah, 2, I think. Right?
Rookie numbers got bump those numbers up, baby.
I do,
All
yeah.
right.
Well, I was going to marry you.
I mean, it was in the cards.
You did.
Right? But,
You were Elvis. So.
Yeah, I were. I mean, but I ended up going to Vegas, with this guy here, and we got this beautiful robe. This is Julius Caesar's robe, actually.
Caesar wore
Caesar wore this. You can see the blood stains.
I
You
got
see the
this at
holes?
Caesar's actual palace.
That leads me to the next person on our table. All right, so this is my friend Bravery.
You can say my name.
No, this is Avery, and this is Luke, the pastor here. And there's
Pastor Luke, actually.
Pastor
I mean,
Luke.
I do prefer Reverend, technically.
Reverend's Luke. My apologies,
Rabbi.
Father.
I do, no, Daddy.
My apologies, Daddy. All right, so these guys have never been on the show before. This is their first time, so please welcome, with open arms, and so yeah, here we are. Here we are.
The cat.
No, that was a peacock.
that was a
There's a peacock.
Oh.
Yeah, we got peacocks all around, man.
Yeah, I did see one coming.
Yeah, I do think they sound like cats. I remember when I lost a cat when I was younger, and she ran away, and then I kept hearing the sound of the peacocks, and I thought it was my cat, and so I just kept running and chasing him, and it turns out it was just a bunch of fucking birds, man. Just trying to fuck. It was a sad story, man.
That was sad.
Yeah.
Also, you said the fuck word.
Well, yeah, but it's
Well,
past
that's-
30
yeah,
seconds.
we've
It's
already-
okay now.
Wait, so which words can we say now?
All of them, dude. You can say
Give me a
you
list.
can say
Okay.
All right.
anything you want.
Maybe
I
we-
changed my mind. I
In
don't
a
want my
row.
name on this
Yeah, but-
podcast anymore.
Maybe we edit that part out.
So tonight, what we're going to be venturing into is some hot takes. Right? We're going to gather some of the boys' most particularly interesting opinions. All right, and see how they fare against the rest of us, and see how we feel about them, and see if we can come to some common ground. So, who would like to begin?
I mean, okay, so
Oh shit! Right off the bat,
I know I said I didn't have a hot take. I have a teeny tiny hot take.
he lied.
I did lie a little bit. Well, it just came
A
out.
lukewarm take?
Lukewarm take.
One take.
Shit back. The moderate hot take I have is I don't think people like IPAs as a beer.
I do not like IPAs.
I would
Even-
drink it if it's there, but it's not what I'm going to get.
I would
for
drink
myself.
it if I were at the point where I was like, I need to keep drinking and there's nothing left. But I would not enjoy it even if I were pretty drunk. I would still be like, this is awful.
We didn't let him finish his point.
Yeah,
we
what
just
is-
immediately
I mean,
launched into
you have a
it.
You're doing great.
Go ahead,
his,
why do you feel-
his take was so hot, we're already we're chomping at the bit.
Like, how
Yeah.
dare you?
So, I mean, like that's the concept, right? Like I would describe myself as an IPA drinker. And
It's your
enjoy
favorite-
It.
it's your
It is
favorite, right?
almost exclusively what I drink, but I'm not sure that I enjoy 90% of the IPAs I drink. I think they mostly just taste kind of okay. They're not as I enjoy drinking. Quite frankly, I enjoy drinking a Yingling more.
Why would you say something so controversial yet so brave? Why do you continue to drink these beers that you don't enjoy?
Yeah, this is actually. I like part of me. Okay,
Do you hate yourself? You want to
Yes.
Do you think it's a quest to find an IPA that you like? Do you think you've challenged
Well,
yourself?
but that is also the trick, right? Is that there are IPAs that I really like, and when I find one, I'm like, holy shit, this feels like I just found.
just
a
drink
gold
those then?
I think your hot take you're trying to say is too many guys fake liking IPAs to look cool.
Right.
Or
think
because
that's-
they think
'cause the
that it looks
culture around
cool.
it.
Because there's
Yeah.
like a cool
Well, that
culture.
was what I was wondering, because clearly they make them. People
make
buy them and they drink them. Is the entire IPA market based on people who just don't actually like what they're drinking?
But I think similarly, like objectively, I don't think people like the way that like vodka tastes, right?
Well, speak for yourself.
Bullshit.
Okay,
Get out!
No, that was the hot take.
That was-
Take a
That was
shot
the
at
hot
vodka.
take.
Let's find out how much we like.
Oh,
vodka.
there's a
Oh,
vodka
dude.
shot.
Yeah, look at that.
Delicious, right?
Does that taste good?
It's actually not the worst vodka.
like
I've had.
water, like spring water.
Like Russian spring water.
Exactly.
Ugh.
That is Russian.
That's what
spring
comes
water.
out of the taps in Russia,
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
Putin's tears.
All right, so we got. So, all right, so are you saying that you don't want to drink IPAs anymore? Or you
No.
just think the quality isn't there? Like,
I love IPAs. I will
You're doing it
continue to drink
performatively.
them. It is not necessarily performative. I just find that oftentimes they objectively do not taste pleasant to drink. Yet it's also like when people drink Malort or I don't know, fucking what else do people eat? Like
Well, let's come kind of full circle back to Benny like several months ago. Benny said that all beer tastes terrible,
Oh, yeah.
and people drink it just because it's like this social norm that you have to drink beer. But here he is over here buying beer now, and he's like, I love drinking beer. I'm trying to find the beer
Not
I
a
like.
sponsor. I would agree with that to
Sponsored
a
by
point.
Chimay.
I think that all beer tastes terrible to everyone at the start, but then if you drink enough, you know.
I had like a paradigm shift. Like, I hated
Yeah.
beer for years. I thought it
Exactly.
tasted like
That's what
straight
happened
piss
to me.
for
And then
years.
just suddenly it's just like,
Like,
and you're
oh,
like, that is
it's
the most
good.
delicious
Yeah.
thing I want
Yeah.
right now inside.
And
of
see
me.
I think that's-
acquired
yeah.
taste.
Yeah,
But
I
the
think
problem
that's
is
acquired-
IPAs haven't done that for me. I've been drinking them since 2006.
Maybe it's time to give up, bro.
I feel like you're discovering
No.
something about yourself here.
But that's the difference. Is that I still
Luke, you
I
don't have to
like
drink
that
them.
I don't like them.
What do you think
You don't
of
have
this?
to drink
What do you
them.
think
It's
of this?
okay.
This is actually fucking great.
Yeah.
But similarly, it's not necessarily more easily to drink than a Yingling, but it's a different experience, right?
Yeah. And it's not about how easy it is to drink or even how good it tastes with alcohol. It is about
That's
the
what I'm trying
experience.
to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it's not that I.
It's a complex experience.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you just
Enjoying something doesn't mean that you have to like it. Maybe that's the bigger.
so
hot take.
IPAs are just they're a pretentious drink for pretentious people.
They are people that have evolved past the peasant drinks of just lagers.
It's a highbrow drink. You wouldn't
It is.
really understand
It's
it.
quite a bit out of
You
your
liked the
wheelhouse.
Minecraft movie after all.
Litmus test for taste.
I mean,
So would you compare it to like anal sex? Would you say that you like it not because you enjoy it per se, but because it's a complex experience?
you're assuming I don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's true. My apologies. I didn't want to assume that. I just made an ass out of you and me.
No, he's married. That's allowed now.
And I did it on accident.
You had
Yeah,
on
on
accident.
accident.
So wait, like what kind of accident?
Whoopsie.
I was
It's like-
very drunk.
The stereotypical
And
wrong
it was,
hole.
Yeah, it was
Did you
just a
receive?
stereotypical wrong hole. I was very fucked up. And like she was very polite. She just didn't tell me. And I was just like, man, it got really tight. all
That
of a
she stuck it
sudden.
in your ass.
Yeah, yeah. That's that's how fucked up I was.
Now, Charlie, given the first 10 minutes we've been recording, how does this compare to your first appearance on Benny's Big Talk? What level of chaos to control do you
It's
feel?
about
When
the
you
same.
add more personalities and more minds, chaos ensues. It's just the natural
Life,
state of
life,
things.
life
Speaking of
finds a way.
All right. We have another hot take.
All right, so hot.
Okay.
I don't want to keep it beverage related. Coffee's terrible.
Oh,
All
fuck
right,
you!
fuck
Fuck you!
We're cutting the show here. I
Yeah, that's it. We're done.
You know, okay, I will say this. Was that your actual hot take?
I didn't know we were actually required to bring a hot take. I thought that was just like a
Oh,
bit.
man,
that
It
we
was
Benny
in
really
the
didn't do our
contracts. You have to
homework.
bring a hot take.
Coffee.
I've been thinking for 2 weeks. And that's
I
the
think
best I
I
can
think
come
he
up
gave
with,
us
and I
one
made
thing.
it up right now.
Get a
Coffee-
top take.
I mean, I did make everybody really mad just now. so.
Yeah, but
It was a pretty
it's
hot
true.
take.
There you
Same
go.
deal though for coffee.
coffee
Is
take.
it really wasn't acquired. I mean, I fucking spiked that shit.
I
with-
to be fair, I could see coffee being an acquired taste that I have not made the effort to develop. I tried coffee a handful of times. I had an iced coffee that I really liked
Okay.
that I've never been able to find again. Even iced coffee I hate now. But I had one a million years ago that I was like,
black
this is
or like what?
delicious. I don't know. I think it was just some kind of flavor.
As someone who used to be a barista, let's talk a little bit. What kind of coffee have you been drinking? Are you just like talking about again black coffee, or like are we talking about sweetened coffee?
Go to a little frappuccino and
Really, you don't even you wouldn't even like a frappuccino.
no.
Fascinating. So it is like the actual coffee flavor.
It is a
itself,
coffee
and it's-
flavor,
Do you like
and I
whiskey?
can see why it appeals.
Do you like whiskey or toffee
Yeah, I
nut
do
or
like-
caramel?
yeah.
Because like all those notes are kind of similar in there to me. Like especially when you sweeten it. So I'm
Beer as
surprised.
well. Beer has a really
Yeah, for
coffee
sure.
kind of note, especially like Guinness or something like that.
And when you
Definitely
put them
some
together-
coffee
I
notes.
think it certainly could be
Yes.
that I just have not powered through like I did with beer. Beer I just kept drinking until I was like, okay, I found a beer I like. And I think that maybe I'm chasing the high of the iced coffee I had that I liked that I've never been able to find.
So where was it? Where
I
did
think
you
it was
have this?
Starbucks. I really think it was a Starbucks. I had it, and
My hot take is that you should be grateful that you can drink coffee, right? Because some of us like coffee, but they can't fucking drink it, bro, and it's a beautiful thing.
What
right?
happens when you drink coffee?
Fun stuff. I can't pee. It stops from peeing, and I have to
Really?
pee really bad, and it just gets worse and worse. I get this irritation, this constant pain, in my bladder and my pee, and
Inflammation.
yeah,
That
inflammation.
that
yeah.
sucks. And well, that's very strange because for most people, if you drink a lot of, obviously you're peeing nonstop.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it smells like coffee.
Yeah. Is it really?
Yeah,
I never noticed the smell.
That's my favorite part.
Is it like
honestly.
asparagus? It
You
makes you
can't if
smell
you're
it.
not
No, it just
Oh,
smells.
I don't
It
think my
smells
BS ever
the
smelled like
exact same as when you were
You
like
drink
That's
a lot of
brewing
fascinating.
it in your Keurig.
I've never noticed that.
Maybe
So you're
it just
brewing
doesn't-
it out of your dick,
Pretty much.
Wow, incredible. You must have a lot of heat producing in there, man.
Would you call that a cold brew or a hot brew?
That's
Why
a
would
hot
it be
brew.
cold? Do you piss cold?
Oh, it's just, cold brew coffee. It's a joke.
Comes out on ice.
Moving.
Moving right along.
He's got espresso coming out of there, man. Yeah, it's high
I
pressure.
will say that I fucking hate espresso. Man, am I saying that too much? Am I,
I
saying
love espresso,
the fuck
man.
word too much?
No, the
No,
fuck
you're
word's
not
fine,
fucking
man.
saying
All right, so
Not
in
bad.
terms of coffee, I would say, all right, obviously it's not for everyone, but I think if you enjoy beer, you could enjoy the bitterness of
Definitely
coffee.
get there.
It has some beautiful notes in it. It's a
I think
complex drink.
I don't think I like bitter beer, and I think that could be.
All beer's bitter, man. All right, so another hot take, please.
This was your idea, Ben. What is the hot take
Alright.
that you were bringing to the table?
I need Charlie's help with this. All right,
My
give me
God.
one that's that isn't just a little bit you're not worried about doing.
Oh my God, all of those are PG.
No, they're not.
They're easy.
Oh.
No, these are easy.
Get rid of the. Let's start with weed is worse than coke.
Oh my
That's
God.
fine.
Yeah, I'm
That's the
really
worst
curious
one.
to hear what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah. All right. Well, so we're definitely demonetized now.
Interesting.
Okay, for one, I
Buddy,
think
you're
there's I think there's people people who smoke weed all the time. All right, they're just kind of it makes you a little bit lazy. It's not a very productive drug. All right, and I feel like people get a little fascinated with it. They get all up into this weed culture. It's all they ever talk about. It's all they ever do. And I think it's kind of an unproductive thing that slows down people's kind of intuition, ingenuity. I think it's great for like playing music or something like that. But I think if people who do it every day, it's a problem. But I think that's cocaine is not as extreme of a drug as people say it is. And in some cases, it's like a strong cup of coffee. And sometimes just makes you a little more productive. And I think obviously it's something that no one here does, and I don't do certainly because it's illegal. But but I think that's
Bits aside, I'm gonna abstain from this one. 'cause
Hypothetically, it's like a strong cup of coffee.
I have right hand up, hand on the Bible. I've never done either, so I could not.
yeah.
I'm gonna have to abstain from this one.
Well,
Now
no,
we can fix that because Benny, I thought about this. What I have in my left pocket, I have a gram of weed and I have a line of. So
Oh,
we're
great.
gonna both
Oh,
do
wow.
each.
So we're gonna do a
Prepare for the
And we're gonna figure
podcast.
out which
Nice.
one is more
It's
effective.
like a morning
Nice.
show, this or that.
Is that where
we're
the
gonna
cut is?
contrast the two, yeah.
So half the
what
table
it
does
starts.
the weed,
Yeah.
half the table does the coke, and then we do some
Yeah,
problem
and Chris,
solving.
we're about to break you on both of them.
Oh wow, yeah. We're gonna see which state I'm less
Surprise.
functional
Yeah.
in.
So
Yeah, Len with the
no, I mean,
Go ahead,
please.
go ahead.
We can dive right in it. I think I definitely heard what you said.
Mm-hmm.
I do think, arguably, scientifically and medically, there are more benefits to medical marijuana, as an example. Now, I'm not saying that there are no benefits to cocaine. Like I honestly, like, I can't. Not. I've
There's
never
also
had
medical-
cocaine, but I can't disagree with you that I can see that in some worlds there could be benefits to cocaine. I don't know, like we're all taking Adderall, not all of us, obviously, but like the world was taking Adderall, right, which is a stimulant. And we all
Everyone
drink
in the
caffeine.
world.
Everyone in the
Oh,
world
I
takes
didn't- I didn't
Adderall.
think that was that common, but
I think
alright.
everyone's taking it.
I have never. No, I only did Adderall one time. All right, and for me, I barely noticed anything. But I also snorted it, so I don't know if that's the proper way to do it. So
I couldn't
That's
tell
how the
you.
doctor
Don't know,
described
yeah.
it to me.
yeah.
Yeah, he said take a credit card,
Yeah,
chop it in the
snort
middle of
one
the
line.
line.
Every night.
All right, it's as
Dole
needed.
out your weekly amount
Yeah.
using a credit card.
Yeah, but I think honestly, I think that the medical uses for marijuana they've been kind of dubious and not very well proven or studied. And I think that more studying should be done into it. But I think that it is inflammatory in some cases, and it can be a disruptive drug to both your mood and your lifestyle in general. And I don't know, man. I think that's. I don't think anyone should do any drugs. I'll be honest with you. I've come to this conclusion recently. I think that they're just disruptive to your life in general. But
We have an entire
hot take,
table. full
Hot
of
take.
alcohol here.
I listen. I've done a lot of stuff, and I think that
This is a drug.
Yeah.
I know.
This is
I know.
regulated by the government.
I think that most things people should just avoid in the long term. I think you should try everything, absolutely. But I think in the end you should just stop it. I mean, because it's just not good for you in the long run. I hate to end on such a dour note, but
I think that. Well, you brought up people who do it like every day.
Yeah.
It's like their entire culture, or that's their lifestyle. They need to do it
It's a
constantly.
dependence. That's
Yeah,
where
and
the
I
issue
think that
begins.
can be said for literally anything.
Yeah.
And I know people like that too, who are just like constantly. It's like oh, I have a free moment, or like even. It's like I'm going to work. I'm gonna get super high. And
yeah.
it's
Or they
like
go
it just-
home and they sit there and they smoke a
it's like-
bowl every single day.
It's like they're never
and,
sober, and it's like when
Yeah.
you do that with alcohol, you're called an alcoholic.
Exactly.
You're never so
Exactly. If you don't feel comfortable
yeah,
sober,
with weed,
then
you're a weedaholic.
you're an addict. man.
like.
yeah.
And so in
Weedaholic.
that respect, yes, I do agree. I think that personally, I've had some bad experience with weed,
Yeah.
or
Tell
just
me about
mainly
one of them.
It
edibles.
can be really
It
scary.
just-
Yeah,
it's like-
edibles is like a psychedelic experience,
and it's just,
and not in a
just
fun
like
way.
I
yeah.
don't like how it's like I'm put out.
Yeah.
And it makes me very anxious, especially if I'm like with people who I'm not like insanely comfortable with.
Yeah, exactly.
But
yeah.
so it's not my favorite, but I feel like if you're just having it like like on the weekend, have a little smoke up. It's no.
I think
not that
it's
bad.
surprising how extreme it can be, and how
Yeah,
extreme it can be
it's-
when you can buy it from a corner store. You can get
We-
Delta
The
8, and you can
snowball
go
effect
It is
crazy.
of how
not-
quickly you like.
It is not legal here recreationally, but it is medically. Am I correct?
There's certain
but it's
degrees
also
of it that you can
not
get.
criminalized in the greater Tampa Bay area.
It is not okay.
So, like, in theory, you're not going to get arrested or pulled
In the
over
in
for
the greater
smoking
whatever
weed.
area we are.
Unless you have like 20 pounds.
Well,
Yeah,
once
intent
once
to
you cross
sell.
the limit where
Yeah, if you have a
dealer,
if you have a
Yeah.
boat full of it and you're
They might have some questions at
I
that
mean,
point. Yeah.
here's
the
a
Coast Guard pulls up and says, "Hey, what you got?"
The toke boat.
a segued hot take is I kind of feel like all drugs should be legalized.
Oh, I think you guys have done a swap. That used to be Benny's take.
I mean,
No, I mean,
did you take the same class I did? I took a class at USFCP that pretty much revolved around that concept.
Legalization, I think. I mean, I've been a libertarian for years. I'm kind of moving away from that, but I do still think I think that there's dangerous repercussions of that. Although I do think
There are
that
repercussions.
if everyone had access constantly to I think there would be madmen on the streets all the time. I think like productivity would go up considerably, but there would be an insane amount of crime,
But
and
it-
people would be acting
but
like
what value or
psychopaths.
I think
quality.
there should be there is a line. There's some where it's just
there's a
like,
line.
No one.
There's several lines.
Like-
yeah.
There are multiple lines.
Can you
Our own
imagine-
home state, Mr. Bath Salts himself.
For our next extremely hot take, what would we like to talk about? Would you guys like to discuss the World War II one, or should we discuss?
No.
No.
He's trying to bait you.
I don't want to get into
Let's
that
talk
one.
about nuclear power, Ben.
Okay.
I saw that on your hot take list. And
Okay.
well, so it just said nuclear power. It didn't actually say your hot take. So first let's start with how do you feel about nuclear power, Ben?
Well, I just full disclosure, I do work for a nuclear power company, so I'm not biased at all. So for me, I think that you can't. My hot take is that you can't really care about the climate and the Earth and our future, a sustainable future as humans, if you don't support nuclear power.
No, I think that nuclear power is probably one of our most viable options as far as like big energy production. The waste is minimal. Like, it's one that you can't really do any it's a small amount of waste. It's waste that can't
A
really
little closer to the mic, Avery, while you're making these beautiful hot takes.
it's waste that you can't really it's
Actually, they can
very dangerous.
They can use the
obviously,
waste.
but-
Actually, they have technology that can reuse spent nuclear waste.
But as far as the danger of it is like, it's on the odds of something actually going wrong, and we've had examples of it go wrong. The
This
Japanese,
is where you put up Chernobyl.
well, yes. The one in most recent memory that I can think of is the Japanese nuclear power
Fukushima, yeah.
plant.
There's been two major nuclear disasters in the history of nuclear. All right,
Yeah.
unless you consider the bombs and the initial test to be disasters, which the initial test was disastrous for the Earth's atmosphere. Like we completely changed the atmosphere of the world forever with the first test. But it's been done, and now we have a sustainable power source that is extremely efficient, environmentally friendly. And it takes up a small amount of lands, and it can power all of humanity for thousands of years to come, without harming our environment in a significant way. And I think a lot of people are afraid of it just because of a couple minor incidents that really were not as extreme as many people put out to be. And also, they were really not the fault of nuclear power; they were the fault of corruption and bad maintenance. And just poor construction, really, which we've solved all those problems. Both of those reactors were from the 1970s, and they were made from older technology and maintained by, for one, like the Soviets with Chernobyl. That was really the biggest problem, was they tried to cover it up because they were afraid that they fucked up.
Not a best track record, those guys.
Yeah, not really. No. Yeah.
In that department, in a lot of departments, but
Yeah.
that one particular.
Vodka was great, but
Vodka's great. It is interesting how many self-proclaimed environmentalists, and I say this as someone who literally is going to take all of these cans home to recycle at the end of this.
I was impressed by that. Yeah.
Even though you think recycling's bullshit. I know
It
it's
is
not
it is
perfect.
a little.
No,
Hot take. New hot
here we
take.
go, here we go. Some kinds of recycling are bullshit, yes. Aluminum cans is not. Those are very easily recyclable. However, it is extremely prevalent. We have a lot of aluminum, but it's good to recycle it. But some kind of recycling is bullshit. They throw it away. All we do is
90% of plastic is bullshit.
Yeah.
Recycle
Plastic's a
most
difficult
plastic.
one.
Because the symbol that they use for the recyclable symbol, I'm sure you all seen the little fucking triangle that has little numbers inside of it. There's like 2 or 3 types of plastic that's actually recyclable.
Well, so our
and
county-
now they just fucking consider, like, they literally use that symbol. They're like, oh, well, this means it's recyclable, so like people want to buy this type of plastic more often. So we're just gonna use that same logo but change it a little bit to make it so people think it's recyclable, but it's actually just not recyclable.
So I do pay
That's the fucking issue.
attention to the numbers because I'm a toy collector because I'm a little silly boy, and that comes with a lot of plastic trash, and so recycling.
you mean like the boxes and stuff?
Yeah, like the boxes, like the
wires
like
that
the
hold it in the
plastic-
plastic.
like the plastic
The
screen
twist
that
ties?
keeps people from like putting their hand in the
Wait, so
front.
you don't
stealing
keep the
heads.
boxes, Avery?
If some people keep them in the boxes, they keep the boxes because that's what the toy's in. Me, myself, and a lot of collectors, we just take them out, throw the box away.
Interesting.
But yeah, so I do pay attention to those numbers. I believe our county specifically, well, not where we are right now, but where most of us live in the county, is they take 1 through 9 as far as the number inside of the triangle.
But I never asked what they do with those numbers.
Well,
You don't know.
I'm sure that some of it
You
probably,
really don't know. You want to know, and you hope you know.
But I think it does vary from place to place, is like how good and actually like
So
thorough their recycling
the
plant
end
is.
destination of recycling, it used to be China for many years. Actually, a relative of mine made quite a fortune by shipping in shipping containers. They would send stuff from China goods to the United States, and he would send back recycling to China. Made quite a lot of money about it. That's where most of our recycling used to go. But China, actually, a couple years ago, they stopped accepting United States recycling because they found it was not profitable to do so. So they stopped accepting entirely. So most of the recycling that used to go to China, which was the majority of it, especially plastic, is now just thrown away in landfills because the Chinese won't accept it, and it's not profitable for anyone to recycle it. So
Yeah.
they found no point to it. So
And
most
that-
stuff you recycle is just thrown away.
That's the sad truth of pretty much everything. If there's no
Yeah.
profit in it, then it's just like, well, the greater good.
Which I think
Money is the root of all evil.
Yeah, that's right. We solved that. Sirloin steak, actually.
Root of all evil.
That's right. Not the root, though.
Sirloin.
Is the
Alright.
root of all evil.
To solve this problem. Oh, yeah. No, yeah. Okay. So, but in terms, are we on nuclear or are we on recycling?
Oh yeah, we just kind
We're
of
flowing.
got on-
Is anyone against nuclear power?
No.
not that hot a take. I think
Yeah,
it's
we're
hot
pretty
for
really
like
not.
boomers.
It depends.
but-
I mean, it depends who you're talking to. A lot
If
of
you're talking to the families of the people who died.
A lot
at
of
the
young
things,
people though who just don't really know much about it. It's like self-proclaimed. That's where I got off topic.
they associate
but,
it with the weapons.
like
completely.
self-proclaimed environmentalists.
Can I do a fucking hot take, please?
Yeah, it's
yeah,
Charlie's
speak
turn.
up,
We've
boy.
done
Give
3
my
of your
phone
hot
and Charlie
takes.
do your hot
Everybody's
take.
just skipping me. Everybody's just going around, bumping around. All right.
Minimum efforts.
Minimum effort.
Right.
All right.
Continue.
I'll just do a quick draw one that I thought of while I was here. Taylor Swift's music is overrated. That's a hot take. Any?
Depends
I
on
don't
the
know if
album.
it's a hot take.
Not
for
the country
any-
era.
No one here
You like
is
the country
ripping
era?
off their robe. To
No
show
one's
a
gonna go to
Taylor
war
Swift
for
shirt.
Taylor Swift.
Actually,
Country era Taylor Swift went hard, dude.
I like folk era Taylor Swift. I like
wow.
folklore. I like
think
Evermore.
that Taylor Swift has some good songs, but in the end, I'm not going to be like just shitting on Taylor Swift because it's the popular thing to do.
She has definitely given up, I think. She is no longer trying anything
Well,
artistic. Her last few albums have been
would
very,
she-
very
would she
boring
need
and
to?
middling. She doesn't need to
Honestly.
because she's got fucking $1 billion
Exactly.
or something.
And like she's got
How
her-
can she relate
her
to anyone? Yeah.
gigantic fan base just coming to her shows to listen to her sing the old stuff.
Causing
So, yeah.
earthquakes. They're that big. Yeah, like literally. Like,
White
Artist pivot.
white earthquakes.
Artist pivot. Nickelback is better than people say.
Yeah,
No,
well, we've
I-
established
I-
that.
yeah.
Now
Yeah,
it's
I
now
agree.
people hate on
We
Creed.
established
It's
It's
moved.
nostalgic.
Dude, crazy.
No
The hate has
one
moved.
is redeeming Nickelback in favor of shitting on Creed. They're
Yeah,
in the
that's literally
same
happens,
boat.
man. No, Nickelback is now a darling of the internet culture, and Creed is now the object of the hatred.
Maybe in more niche circles. I
Yeah,
feel
it's
like
definitely not
it's
as
still
extreme.
pretty popular to.
The Nickelback thing
Shit,
lasted.
Nickelback.
That was a long.
It's nostalgic at this
Okay,
point.
what band really deserves the hatred that Nickelback maybe doesn't deserve?
Not his band, but Jared Leto.
Oh,
As a person,
I hate Jared Leto.
Jared Leto
so much.
That's not a hot
ruins
take.
everything he's in.
He's
That's a cult take.
yeah, including his cult.
He does like method acting and stuff. That's the thing. That's his thing.
Yeah,
Does
and it's
meth
always like
acting.
Yeah.
it's always method
Meth
acting. That's
acting.
just like, what's the point? Because the
It's so-
performance was still terrible.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you ever heard like the quote? Like, I think it was Dustin Hoffman, and he was doing a thing. He was doing a method acting. He was talking to Laurence Olivier, who was like an old style, really big, famous actor, and he was talking about all this thing. Like, he was like, I live in the character. I wake up and I'm this guy, and I do everything he does. And Laurence Olivier just says, "My dear fellow, have you tried acting?"
That,
Like,
method
why do you have to
acting-
pretend like you're another person? Just like do your job and just turn it on.
Method
you know?
acting's taken a hit in the last couple years, where people are really just like, yeah,
'Cause it's
fuck it.
toxic. They consider it toxic
pretentious
now.
and annoying.
Yeah,
yeah.
You don't need to send Margot Robbie rats.
What do you
Worked for
think?
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Do you think does he always method act?
I'm pretty sure he did. Didn't
When my left foot, did he just like be paralyzed
yeah,
for a
I'm
year?
pretty sure he sat in a wheelchair for the entirety of that set.
No way. Did he? No, but like
Pretty sure he
off
did.
the set though, like in his regular life. That's real method acting.
I don't know.
But was that method acting or was that just his talent as an actor?
I think it's probably both. Well,
I think okay. So method acting, I think we're gonna say is they live in that role even
Their
when they're
whole-
not on sets, just all the time. Like they do
So-
that accent or something like
Like
that.
the Heath Ledger thing.
Something very funny.
Like Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder.
My real hot take is that I think that it should be required that everybody has to take a driving test each year annually, and if they fail it, they lose the ability to drive for a year.
For a year now?
Every single year. Every year you have to go in.
I think
and
over
you
the
have
age of 60, they should.
you already have to go in and redo your license on the
Not
car.
every year.
Well,
Not
you're
every
regist-
year. I would.
Every
You can
2
do it
years.
over mail.
Like,
No,
Like,
not
if
you
you
don't have to
like-
renew your license
Fine
every
for
2
me.
years.
I think a renewal would definitely. I mean, it's state we live in. No one knows how to drive.
But that's because they don't teach them in the first place. But I think the big issue is older people just completely forgetting because they have dementia. So they need to test if people can still drive when they're getting into an age of declining.
Yeah, but then they're just
ability.
gonna forget that they can't drive.
They just don't go do the test. Well, then they send their
Yeah.
to
Seen
jail
Rise
when they
of the
die
Planet
there,
of the
man.
Apes. John Lithgow got in that car. He wasn't supposed to be driving, and he got Caesar sent to ape jail.
Don't talk about Dumbledore like that, man. Listen, all right?
New Dumbledore.
I mean, it
Dumbledore,
would be
yes.
very
Shut
it's
up.
easy, very easy to track that. Like you just, everybody has a driver's license. Pivot part B of that: if you cause an accident, you lose your driver's license.
Like forever, or just like for a
Not
certain
forever,
time,
but,
for a year
you know,
or something, or like.
I would say that's negotiable.
See, I think that's a case by case scenario because
Well, it should be the
even if
minimum
you're
of like drunk
technically at
driving.
fault-
Like you should have
Well,
a
yeah.
suspended license just like drunk driving if you cause an
I mean,
accident.
you already usually do that.
But your license is
Like,
suspended if you cause an accident.
I can think of
Should
a
be.
couple people.
Well, then yeah, there's already.
There's been one person.
I
yeah.
specifically,
I was about to say.
said
Few
cause
Not
the
a
accident.
few.
Well, and I'm
We're
not
talking about
saying
10.
that he
I think it's
caused
like
them.
10.
I think
right?
he did cause a couple of
But
them.
there's
Well,
you
he
know,
always said that he did not cause them, but it is quite a few numbers for him. As I drive like a crazy person, I've never gotten in a single accident. I do 120 miles an hour everywhere I go all the time. I've never been in a single accident. All right, but if one person has been in 10, it makes you question it. You know.
That's another
Okay,
discussion. That car accidents, I feel like there's always, they say one person's at fault, but I feel like in a lot of circumstances, two people are at fault. For example, if you're driving down the road and you're looking at your phone, you know, texting or something, and then you look up, the cars in front of you are stopped. You slam on your brakes.
Yeah.
You don't hit anybody, but the car behind you hits you. My personal opinion is that the person who is looking at their phone and slammed on their brakes should be at fault.
But it's
as
always
well.
the one who rear ends
But it's
them.
also
their
the
fault.
person who makes the contact with the car. I think that's
It would also
bullshit.
be hard to prove that.
Yeah,
I mean,
very
well,
hard.
I'm not really actually, because if they sent a message, you could.
I mean,
look
the
at their
cars
phone.
are so smart now that they have like reports where you can like,
Like a black
you
box.
can like
Star.
look at
Yeah.
like, well, yeah, obviously. But the newer cars have like the reports where it's like, oh, you were going 50 miles an hour and then you abruptly slammed on the brakes.
Now, but-
like, why did you do that?
Should your car be allowed to fucking tattle on you?
I mean,
All right, there we go. There's a.
what about this? All right,
Holy
imagine
shit.
this: two
Everything's rad
self-driving
nowadays.
cars crash into each other. Who's at fault?
That's all.
Elon
That is
Musk.
a
Please
That's
send
a
him the
very
bill, man.
interesting-
I think that's fair.
That's a very interesting area because I like looking at that kind of stuff and just seeing like
It's worth going.
like just
Yeah.
crazy scenarios where it's just like you're in a tunnel and a child runs out in front of your car. I don't know why the child's in the tunnel, but it's like
But they
your
are.
car has the option of like
Aiming
swerving
for him?
into oncoming traffic or hitting the child. There's like
Oh yeah,
no
it's like
scenario.
the trolley problem thing. Like how
Yeah.
does
Yeah,
the
we
car-
should do
it's a
we should do the
trolley
trolley
problem.
Yeah, like say so
Yeah.
you got like one fat guy versus like three, three skinny people or one baby.
Why
It's
do we
like-
have?
What's the ratio?
Is
at
the
this
fat
table?
guy worth multiple people?
No,
I don't understand.
It's the one life versus
Yeah, yeah.
versus the many lives.
But it's like it's how you value the life too.
Is he
so
pregnant? Is that why he's fat?
Is he versus you got three
right.
babies. All right. What do you mean? All right, Chris. Why are you avoiding controversy
Ben,
so much, Chris?
Shit.
What do you have to lose?
Chris ran over 3 babies.
I did run. Yeah. I feel like this is targeted of the 3 babies that I ran over on the way here. You know,
He put him in
So
the road
funny.
too. It was crazy.
So I think it's like how do they solve those logical problems if they have two choices, like an old lady versus a young person? Like if they could choose which person to run over, they have no other choices. What is the computer going to do?
The only option is to hit both.
It's gonna swerve
Yeah,
sideways.
it's gonna go
That's
sideways.
fair.
It's gonna just
That's
Tokyo
equity
drift
right
in the
there.
middle.
That's equity. Kill them both.
yeah.
Yeah, that'd be the fairer thing to do, honestly.
I think
you know?
we're getting ahead of the fucking carriage here. A
No,
little
I
bit
mean we're just
because
moving fast. Okay,
we're
what's your-
already not hitting anyone. You know what I mean? Like we're getting there for sure, but the idea that we're identifying like who, the ethnic group of the person we're about to hit between
yeah,
all
man.
6 people,
Yeah.
it's not happening.
And also, the
just
sensors have different reactions to people with different skin colors, man. That's a real thing. It
Jesus
is.
Christ,
No, it's
is
a
it
real
really?
thing.
No,
man.
that is a real.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
like this was a problem in history. Like Kodak film used to be designed to only show white skin colors, so all black people in
Ugh.
old film you couldn't see them because the film was not designed to show them, right? And so the same thing is going to be happening with sensors when they detect certain people. They're
But I
not
feel
going
like
to
we're
see
more
some
aware
people
of
as
those
well.
issues now. So
So
like,
hopefully.
it's no longer. I
But
feel
you
like
can't
your
control
car should
for
be
it.
designed.
When I worked at GameStop, we had like the thumb sensors. I don't know why you need a thumb sensor when you're like. I don't know why you need to give GameStop a thumbprint.
Wait,
when
what
you
is it
return-
for?
For like maybe it's a pawn law thing. When you were
Yeah,
trading in a
trading in
game or
games?
trading in a console, you needed a thumbprint.
Right.
That thumbprint only worked for white people, and I would just be standing there and I would just feel bad because like an African American man would come in, he would trade in his console, and I'd be trying to get his thumbprint, and it would just be over and over, no reading, and we just
Huh.
eventually have to give up.
So
And I'm like,
did they have any other
racist
option?
thumbprint.
Was there any other option like, hey, fill out the form for trading your thing, or is it like your fingerprint
can't
doesn't work? And
remember
you're done?
exactly. I think we just had to give up. And call
That's
it a day.
great. So you had to say no, you're done. You cannot trade in
Wow.
your stuff.
No, we still Jesus Christ, Chris.
Well,
We still
that's what
traded
you're making
the
it sound like.
Go to the color game
You're
stop
making
next
it-
door, sir.
You made it sound like if the thumbprint
Yeah.
doesn't work, then they're done.
Like
so there
back
were
in,
other
back
options.
in
What
the
would they do? What would
50s,
they
it was
do?
crazy. You had 2 game stops.
The water fountains, the game stops, man. What do you think of that?
It had 2 different game stops.
Okay.
All right, well, shall we? All right, so who is the next hot take?
I suppose it's my turn. Today I went to the zoo with Mother, and it reignited my decision to take the stance. So I am a big fan. I don't know if that's the right word, but I like apes. Great apes, lesser apes,
Okay.
Great question.
all
for
the
you.
apes. And
Glad I remember.
if you don't know this, because a lot of people don't even know the difference between apes and monkeys, it was triggering the hell out of me today when I'm
unfortunate.
looking at orangutans and gibbons and people are
Monkey.
like, look at the monkeys. One lady said, so both the orangutan and the gibbon exhibits, they both have babies currently. And the baby gibbon's hanging on to the mama gibbon. And I hear one lady like, oh, look at the baby in their pouch. And even my mom was just like, had to roll her eyes and
So
why
did you
would
yell
apes
at a
have
child?
So here's the
yeah,
hot-
we beat that woman and threw her into the exhibit is what I'm saying.
Apes!
Yeah.
So here's my hot
So-
take. If I heard that, I wouldn't care.
Ooh.
Everyone has things that trigger them. Literally every single species of ape, great and lesser, is to some extent endangered.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And it's of my opinion that honestly, that their lives and collective general populace is of a higher priority than anything human related. So like
We're
if
going to the
there's
hot-
a-
That's so good.
there
I have a question.
well, hold on, let me just
Okay,
finish real quick.
and then I got
So,
a burning
so,
question.
like,
I
as an
want to ask
example-
it so bad.
If there's an example where
no.
human needs meets so like if there's an example of like where human needs meets ape needs and they collide, I think that ape needs should take priority. Obviously,
what
we
does
don't
that
live in that
mean?
world. Where it's like suddenly, so like here's an
Ape is in
example.
a burning building. Your mom is
Yes.
in a burning building.
Sophie's
You
choice.
always, and this is the thing. Whenever this comes up, they always try to Sophie's Choice me, where they suddenly there's like,
Well,
your
no.
your sister
Alright, but
and
no.
a guinea pig are in the same
No,
room,
no.
and there's a gun to their head.
And you chose
It's
the
because
guinea
you
pig.
chose
You
the guinea
chose
pig.
the guinea
That's
pig.
It is
So,
because
like-
you chose the guinea pig.
and I did that to spite you.
No, you didn't.
But here's the
You were
thing.
very
No, you didn't.
sincere.
You were-
in
yeah.
any situation,
Looking
any
back
human
on
is
it
going
now.
to compromise their morals for their family. Duh. That
Now.
like no one is
So
going
you
to
were just
stand
taking
on
the
their
more
fucking
controversial
laurels.
take just to be.
So
hot?
here's an example. Like
Yes.
a big reason of orangutan
No recognized
population decline is because their habitats are being taken over for, I think it's palm oil
Yeah.
plantations. It's just
Africa.
farms for like I think it's palm oil. Yeah, it's palm oil.
No, you're right.
and
because
so like
I wanna
and
hear
no-
Luke's
should be,
question.
no, we should be using the fat from gorillas as oil instead
wow.
of palm oil.
ignoring that.
Like
so
gorilla tallow.
The point is,
gorilla
if,
tallow.
if someone came, if one day I went to the store,
Joe
I'm
Rogan
like,
would be
I'm like,
so
oh,
into
how come I can't find palm oil? Or why is
this
palm
is the
oil
best
more
shit.
expensive? And someone was like, oh, it's because they're producing less of it, or something because of.
But palm oil
because
is
of
like the
orangutan.
cheapest oil there is. That's
Well,
why they put it in
but
so
I'm
many
saying
foods
like
these days.
if suddenly it's just like you go in and it's like, but this is a hypothetical.
What's your question, Luke?
Because
Yeah,
this would never happen because the human priority
But
always
what is
comes
the
first.
what is the take? You're saying the
My take is
preservation
that
of
honestly,
endangered species
and honestly,
should be.
not even just apes in general. I think that just in general, I would put animal priorities and conservation efforts above any.
Wait, but why are
human
we
priorities.
conserving a species that's a natural selection decided should die out? Why are we
So,
trying to alter nature
here's
and
my
not let it
take,
take its
Ben.
course?
We're not special.
I
Humans.
think you're special, Avery.
Humans, yes.
This is so good.
Humans love to put themselves on this pedestal. We think we are this crazy different thing.
Well, because we are,
Yeah,
Avery.
we're not.
Do you
Okay,
see
we are
everything
not.
around
Hold on,
you?
I gotta fix this problem.
Hang
Let me.
on.
I have two
Luke, all right,
questions
let Luke
for you.
speak.
Yeah,
Luke,
you've
please.
had the
Questions
floor.
for you.
Time for Luke.
It's going to help answer this question for all of the listeners and the viewers. Okay, I know the answer to this question. I'm going to ask it to set the stage.
Okay.
If it is between, you can only choose one. Say it's a railroad problem again.
This is always where you
No,
go
no.
to it. This is not the scenario.
It's the start. It's just the start. I agree. It's not the scenario. It's not where I want to be. But it has to be here first. Okay. Between, if you could save one gorilla's life by having 5 humans die, would you save the gorilla's life? Or ape. Maybe I'll just generalize.
Again, it's so
okay.
off topic.
But
I'll humor you for the sake
that's
of
what
for
I'm
the
looking
sake of
for.
entertainment.
Yes.
Again, and so like, do I know these humans? Who are these humans on the track?
It's a yes or no question.
It's us, all 5 of us.
So from a number standpoint,
It's a
there
silhouette.
are
It's a silhouette. You don't know
billions
the-
of humans on this planet. All ape species only reach like they're in the thousands. So yes, I would say that gorilla's life is worth more based on a
Just a numbers
game.
basis,
Perfect.
purely.
That's great. That is the answer I knew you were going to say, and I'm glad you said it. Because my follow-up question is, if it is between saving the life of one ape or sucking 5 men's dicks, would you suck
man.
the 5 men's dicks?
Line them up, brother.
We're gonna test this out tonight. We're gonna test Avery's conviction.
Joke's on you. Joke's on you. Pull them down. Because the finale of this podcast is I'm sucking everyone's dick here. And there's only 4 of you, so we do need to find one more person
You
on
have
the
to
street.
suck your own
Yeah.
dick, right?
So,
No, but what does that mean in terms of
Because
conservation?
I've been listening to your previous episodes, and I
Yeah.
know that you do believe that humans have, like, you're not religious. Like, I don't believe in a god. In fact, a lot of people like to tiptoe around it, and they're just like, well, there could be something. I am convinced that
Yeah, no, absolutely
there's
not.
nothing.
Bullshit.
It's just,
Yeah, bullshit.
Sorry, Luke.
Reverend, take it easy.
This isn't about you, bro. Right?
So I don't think that, like, but then I do have to question. It's like, oh, God made us in our image.
Okay, but what is-
in His image? And I'm like, they're literally like one step away from us. And
Oh,
you're
very
saying
close.
that,
He
like-
screwed up a couple times. you
Oh
know?
yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's a practice run.
And like our closest related our closest related existing species is chimpanzees. We share. I can't remember the exact percentage, but it's like 97% or something.
But we also share 97% of our DNA with a banana, so it's not
Yeah.
particularly
And
relevant.
I will
But-
kill
and-
every human to save that banana.
Banana lives matter.
There's more bananas than there are humans.
But
No, but it's
because
valid.
there
The conservation
were
is valid,
other
yeah.
species and subspecies of humans where all that's left.
But what is the
at this
hot
point.
take? What is the hot
So
take?
the hot take is, I think
That is killing 5 humans for the ape. That's the hot take.
we are special because we consider ourselves special. Some people think we're special because there is a deity that considers us special in their image. That's kind of their like excuse for it. People don't say we're apes. They say we come from apes. We're fucking.
we
apes.
are apes.
We are apes.
But if you... sorry, Charlie, please continue.
Oh, I was going to say, I think the hot take here, just from listening to all the arguments at the table right now, is that it has nothing to do with apes. I think the hot take here is that humans are not special and that we should be equals to other animals of the animal kingdom. Is that right?
To an extent, but
that what
I
you
think
believe?
because of just how extreme we've gotten with like virtually, I shouldn't say virtually every, because there are many animal species that coexist with humans and actually thrive because of us alongside.
Because we have
us.
created a massive extinction
Rats
just
are
with our
like
projection,
rats
right?
are like they've exploded across the globe, by following our wake.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, I love rats.
But wouldn't you say that's
But
just
so many
natural
animals-
selection taking its course, though? Because
Is
we're
it
part of the
natural?
environment.
It's not natural because
It's
it's,
not-
influenced by human conquest, human
it's-
activities.
It's natural
Yeah.
in that that's what happened.
But humans have caused
There's
a
no
great extinction
exactly.
events. They have.
Every like.
But that doesn't mean that
megafauna
humans
from the
aren't
Ice
special.
Age, except for the cave
But we have
bear
a,
was-
There's
we have
been
a
mass extinctions.
responsibility. But we have responsibility as humans. We are special. We have created incredible things in the earth. But we have responsibilities as stewards of this planet
do-
to
I
protect.
I think the
the other
more
species.
sense,
I do
the more
agree
sense
in
of
that we have
self you
responsibility.
have. I'm not saying that makes your life more valuable, but I think, like Ben was saying, I think the more sense of self you have, the more responsibility you have, because
I agree
with that development of sense of self, you have the development of the sense of those around you as well that are lacking that awareness, and you have to, as Ben was saying, be a steward for the other species. And I think that does increase the value of human life because there is more awareness. If the ape in their tribe was like, wow, that human's going to kill one ape, let me just, 2001 Space Odyssey bone bone over the head 30
It's a bone.
humans,
It's a bone lever.
they're
on
gonna
the
do
train.
it. Yeah, they're gonna bone train
Yeah,
30
they're gonna
humans.
all
They're
aboard
gonna take the bone
train.
to 30 humans.
You know, and I agree with you on the responsibility aspect, and I think what has just disappointed me in the last couple of years, and maybe this was just a part of growing up and becoming either more jaded or less naive, but I've just seen the responsibility of like actual like improving the world, actual progress, just fall flat on its face in my adult life, and
Absolutely.
it's really fueled my misanthropy to an extent where it's
not that dark though. I think things have improved a lot, especially in the last 20 or 30 years in terms of forest conservation, in terms of ocean conservation, because we've recognized a lot of the pollution of the 20th century and the horrible things we did to the environment, so we're actually making steps to improve that, at least in the developed world.
But at the same time, human development or human comfort even has never really taken a back seat to a great extent in regards to that. We will still
we're selfish
continue-
people for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And honest, it's like
But I think the awareness of that has increased in the last
and this is the real hot
decade.
take, and this is pure fantasy here, really. So my final point, and this is pure fantasy, but one day humanity will make it into space and start spreading out. Well,
That's a hot take, as we haven't been to space.
my
He just said it.
my
That's
hopes
Avery's
in
line.
that my
Moon
hopes in
landing's
that
fake?
my hopes in that actually becoming a reality do diminish over time, as I feel like space colonization is whatever.
has
Anyways,
been 80
Have you
years, yeah.
seen the videos of like SpaceX going to space and like all of a sudden for one frame it cuts and it's like a rocket on a green screen, or like
See,
the
here's the
fucking
thing.
rat walking around the
I don't-
NASA
Is
space
that a real?
don't-
Is that a real
What?
thing?
I
These are like
don't-
real videos.
I don't
that
want it
people
to
have
be
posted.
SpaceX. I don't want it to be
Oh,
SpaceX.
I didn't say you wanted it to be SpaceX. That's not the question. Because NASA also had the video where there's a fucking rat running around in liftoff in outer space.
So you think they're still faking space exploration
Where's the green
6 years
screen one?
later?
I've never seen that.
There's a clip of one of the SpaceX launches where they, it's the one where they launched the fucking Tesla into space.
I believe that
And
for
literally,
SpaceX,
it's like the
but-
Tesla like floating in space.
You know who wouldn't do that?
And
Is
then
Blue
one
Origin.
frame.
My
goes
buddy Jeff
green
Bezos
screen,
wouldn't
and then
do
it's
that.
just back, and everyone's like, "What the fuck was that?"
But
I mean-
also,
All right,
we've
like,
been
look,
to the moon.
We
People.
have. Oh yeah, you think so?
Don't-
No, honestly, I'm with you.
No, okay.
Um,
All right,
Like,
yeah,
yeah,
okay,
objectively,
wait, let me
I
finish,
think
let me
we've been
finish.
to the moon.
All right,
Let's
Avery,
clear the air
Avery.
here. I think we've
Look.
been to the moon. I think it's important.
Reverends,
Okay.
control yourself.
So-
No, I can't be in control.
One day, we will be out there. We'll be like terraforming shit or living in little bubbles. I don't fucking know.
We'll be
This
dead
is
by then.
sci-fi stuff. We'll be dead, of course.
we'll be dead by
We'll
then.
be dead.
We're gonna be dead
Your
in 10
children
minutes.
will
How
be
about
dead.
we
But-
challenge that?
What? Whoa!
Whoa, we might die right
Is
now.
that an orange tip? Is that an orange tip?
I have a.
I'll give you just
Let's
two.
let's make this a little interesting. I have a single round right here. I'm gonna put one in the chamber. We're gonna play a little game. A tale as old as time. A little bit of Russian roulette. Okay.
911.
Okay.
That's another good thing that came out of Russia.
911.
The roulettes.
No,
Yeah, the roulette.
The vodka,
Vodka
the
and
roulettes.
All right. Who wants to go first?
If we survive.
I think that guy, the hottest
Yeah, I
right
think-
here. I think
Was
he's
that
right.
the hottest take of the
Well,
night?
That's
I
the
mean-
most recent.
This is the most recent. You gotta give it a little spin.
Oh, we already spun
We
it.
spun it. It's
Okay.
pre-spun. It's
Now
pre-spun.
it's loaded.
Goodbye, Avery.
You ever seen Deer Hunter?
Goodbye, mother.
Are you good?
We live.
We're good. All
All
right.
right. No, left is law.
Okay.
Oh, left is the
So
law.
we just going?
Hot
or,
take.
Going,
We
alright.
gotta give a hot take before we shoot.
Shall we keep the hot takes going, or we
You gotta
just,
spin
is this
it.
just how
Yes.
we
I mean, we can.
We
I
gotta
mean,
spin it?
it's,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, it's the hot takes are over. I think.
You think so?
Yeah, yeah.
Just real quick,
Taking
handle
it
it
hot.
anymore?
I think that when we do go into
leave
space,
some for
we
us.
should just
What did you
leave
not believe
Earth
there was a? Did you not
to
believe there
the
was one in there?
animals.
Yeah, you had to
Let
leave
it just
behind.
for prosperity's sake. We'll all just go.
I vibe with that.
Yeah.
I feel like by the
Don't
time
look.
we're ready to leave,
Yeah.
it's gonna be too fucked anyways.
Oh,
but yeah.
absolutely. Of course.
I'm gonna commit seppuku.
Is that how the Japanese do it?
Yeah, that's how they
with
do
an
it.
American revolver.
Yeah, with an American revolver.
With a 6-shooter.
With a red orange tip.
Gonna load it for me, baby.
Oh wow, it's preloaded.
It eliminates
fucking
any
look.
chance to.
Oh god.
No.
Sure, guys. I'm
Let's not.
not taking any
Let's
chances.
not.
Goodbye, cruel world.